Wake up and smell the coffee, Mr. LaRusso.
Extreme situations require extreme measures.
Yo guys, welcome back to Cobra Kai Karate. Come back to a brand new video. Today we're episode 2 of my Cobra Kai fan fiction. If you guys do not know what this is me predicting each and every single episode of Cobra Kai season 6 of what I think will happen. And this is episode 2. So if you guys have not seen episode 1, go rewatch it on my channel because this is a follow-up to episode 1. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So this episode will be called Brumation Over. Shout out to CBK for coming up with that name. Anyway guys, let's get right into what will happen right now. So I think the beginning of this episode will show the end of season 5 of Kreese beating up those security guards and leaving the place. And then we'll see a follow-up scene of what happened after that. We'll see him get in a car and we'll take off the medical gown he's wearing and he'll start the car and start to drive away. And this will all still be at the nighttime, the night of all the stuff that happened. Then we'll see him drive up to Mike Barnes' furniture store. He'll see that it's burnt down and everything, and then he'll walk into it. As he walks in, Mike Barnes will be standing there listening to the radio about Kreese's escape. And we'll turn around to see Kreese standing there. Kreese will say, "Hello, Mike." Mike Barnes will say, "What the hell are you doing here?" Kreese will say he just wants to talk. Mike will say, "Talk about what?" "You're a wanted man." And we'll go to call the cops. But Kreese will grab his hand and stop him and say, "Don't forget what I did for you." We will learn about a backstory of Kreese saying of what he did after Karate Kid 3, where he helped Mike Barnes. He helped him get a job, he helped him stay at his place, and we'll also hear that Kreese helped him just get back on his feet. Kreese will say he just wants to talk, and Mike will put the phone down. Kreese will ask what happened to this place. Mike will tell him that your buddy Silver burnt this place down, and also attacked him and Daniel, and now he's in jail. Kreese will be learning about all this stuff that happened in the season 5 finale. He'll be really shocked. Then I think Kreese will go on to tell Mike Barnes that they are not friends anymore and he betrayed him and falsely accused him and put him in jail. Kreese will ask if he can just stay here for the night, and Mike will get a couch from one of his furniture places to let him sleep there. After that will be the next morning. We'll see Kreese wake up. He will go to the cell phone to call the Cobra Kai Dojo, and Sensei Kim will answer. He will already know that Sensei Kim is the sensei there now because I think Kreese will fill him in. Mike Barnes will fill in Kreese from the conversation last night. Sensei Kim will answer the phone and say, "Who is this?" And he'll say it's Kreese. Sensei Kim will say, "Where are you? You escaped." You'll be freaking out. Kreese will say, "Don't worry about it." Kim will say, "Why are you calling?" Kreese will say, to finish what we started. He'll go on to say that he wants to take on Cobra Kai, he wants to join, and he wants to be a sensei for the dojo. Kim will say, "Meet tonight." Kreese will ask where, and she'll say, "You know where." Basically just in the Cobra Kai dojo. Then he'll end the call, and Mike Barnes will come out. Mike Barnes will ask, "Who was that?" Kreese will say, "No one." Kreese will say that he has to be going now, and then Mike will give him a jacket, say, "Put this on, to stay on the low so you don't get caught." Kreese will say, "Thanks, Mike," and we'll walk out. Then I think we'll see a scene of Mike Barnes on his phone, go to his contacts to call Daniel, but as he's calling him, he'll hang up. I think Mike Barnes wants to try to do the right thing, but I think he still has some sort of heart for Kreese because we'll learn about that backstory. Then I think we'll see some scenes of Kreese just walking alone on the street. We might even see him walk by the old Cobra Kai dojo. He'll have memories of Johnny and his students and all that stuff. Then it'll be nighttime, and we'll get to the scene that left off episode 1 of Kreese and Kim meeting up. Kreese will say, "Are you ready?" Kim will say, "Are you?" They'll both get inside their own private plane that Kim owns, and they'll say that they're going off to Korea. Then I think we'll be back to the present day where we're at, and it'll show Daniel at the Miyagi-Do dojo. He'll be there just, meditating. You know what Daniel does. He's just there all alone. I think Johnny will walk in, and they'll start talking about some stuff. I think Johnny will try to ask for some advice about having a kid because Carmen's pregnant. I really want to see this scene. I really want to see a scene of just, Johnny and Daniel, or Johnny asking advice for Daniel of how to be a dad better, because obviously he did kind of fail it the first time. So I think that'll be a really nice bonding scene between them. Then I think we'll see a scene of Kenny in his room all alone, and we'll hear a knock on the door. He'll come down and it'll be Robby. Kenny will say, "Robby, what are you doing here?" And Robby will say, "I just came here to talk to you." Robby will say, "How you been?" And Kenny will say, "Not good." We'll hear that his brother is still being held up in jail. And then I think we'll also hear that his dad died about a couple months ago, because we know that he was in the military. He'll say that his mom has to work 2 jobs and he can barely see her. And that Cobra Kai was a way for him to let out his anger. But now that Silver went to jail, he realized it was all a lie. And it's all over. Robby will talk about his past, and he'll say that forgiveness is the best way to heal. Robby will say, "You should come to Miyagi-Do." Kenny will say, "For what?" And Robby will say, "For you." And Robby will say, "And you'll be a great addition to Miyagi-Do for the Sekai Taikai." Kenny will say, "I'll think about it." Then I think we'll see a scene back at the Miyagi-Do dojo of all the students there. And I think Johnny, Chosen, all those guys will come out, and they'll be talking about how they need to come up with a name for their dojo. I think they'll ask the students that they should all vote, and they shall come up with a name. And I think it'll just go absurd. Everyone will be saying the most craziest names, and it'll be a pretty funny scene. I wouldn't be surprised if Bert says Mongoose Dojo. Then I think Daniel will just say, "Let's just forget about it for now. Let's just focus on our dojo and our students. We can come up with a name later." He'll tell them all to get in their position, and he'll look at the students and he'll say, "No Tory today?" He'll see that there's no Tory, and Robby will shake his head no. Then we'll see a scene of Tory at her house helping her brothers and her mom, and he'll look at the medical report, and you'll see that her health is getting really bad. Then there'll be a knock on her door, and she'll go to open it, and it'll be the All Valley Committee. They'll be talking about how after the investigation of the cheating that they are going to need the trophy back. Tory will say, "Can you guys just make a new one?" And they'll say, "We're kind of on a budget. We have to have this one back to return to the real winner," as they'll say. She'll walk over to a room and grab the trophy, and then she'll slowly and sadly give it away. Then we'll be back at the dojo where we're all still training. I think there'll be some cool training scenes. I hope we see more of Anthony training. I think there'll be a couple cool training scenes there. And then I think we'll see Kenny walk in. I think Anthony will see him and he'll say, "Hey guys." And then Hawk will look up. And as he looks up, I think he'll have a flashback of him getting beaten up by him. And I think really defensively, he'll walk up to him and say, "What are you doing here?" And I think this is where this picture that we got from that thing will play into the season. Kenny will say, "Robby invited me." Robby will walk over and Anthony will look at him and say, You let him here? Do you know what he did to me?" Robby will go on to say, "Did not Hawk break Dimitri's arm? And did I not cut off Hawk's mohawk?" He'll say, "People change." But I still think Hawk will still feel really embarrassed by him getting beaten up by Kenny, and he'll feel almost insecure about it. And will say, "Anthony's right, you need to leave right now." Robby will try to calm him down and everything, but I think Kenny will just say, "You know what, you're right, I don't belong here," and he'll just leave. After that, I think Robby will get in Hawk's face and say, "Remember where you came from." Then I think we'll be back in Korea where Kreese and Kim just landed, and they'll be walking by this place where they trained a lot. They'll be talking about everything that happened here, and I think Kreese will say, "I'm sorry for what happened here." Then I think we'll have a flashback of Kim as a kid and her father, who we never really got to learn about because we know that her grandfather, Kim Sung-young, is the founder of the Cobra Kai fighting style, but we never knew about the son of him, which would be the father of Kim Da-eun. We'll see a flashback of her around the age of 10 or 11, and he'll be making her punch this really hard rock, this really large stone, over and over and over again. And she'll be crying in pain, and her knuckles will be bleeding really, really bad. And then I think we'll see young Kreese walk by, and we'll be looking at this. He'll walk up and say, "That's enough." But Sensei Kim's father will say there is no such thing as enough. Then I think Kreese will scream, "That's enough." And we'll go to attack him, and they'll get in a fight. It'll be a decent fight at first, but I think that Sensei Kim's father will get the upper hand and will just beat Kreese brutally. As he's screaming, "Don't ever disrespect my father's honor, ever." Then I think we'll be back at Daniel at his house, and Amanda will be there. Amanda will tell him about how Sam got the trophy back, and Daniel will be really happy about this, but then I think Amanda will say they took Tory's. And Daniel will say, "Oh, that's the price of being in Cobra Kai." I think they'll get in a smaller argument. I think Amanda will end the argument by saying, "She's way different than what you think she is." and will walk away. Then we'll see Sam in her room, and she'll be having the trophy. She'll be looking at it, and I think she'll have a smile on her face at first, but then she'll remember a flashback of season 4 of her fighting with revenge. And I think there'll be a flashback of Tory coming up to her, asking if she was okay. And I think she'll look at the trophy feeling like she doesn't deserve it, and she'll put it in the closet and close the door. Then we'll see Kreese and Kim walking up to this place, and Kim will say, there it is. Kim will walk up first and will knock on the door, and Kim's father will open the door. Kim's father I picture as like around the same age of Silver or Kreese. He'd be really big and scary. I think of a big scar on his face too. And as far as his name, I don't know. Since his father's Kim Sung-young and then his daughter's Kim Da-hoon, I'm gonna say Kim Ja-hoon. And no one make fun of me in the comments for that. That's the best I could come up with. Anyway, as he opens the door, Sensei Kim will bow to him and he will say, "What are you doing here?" He'll be really mad at Kim because he knows about how she teamed up with Silver and went to America and lost to the Miyagi-Do Dojo. He'll learn about all this stuff and he'll be saying how you disrespect my father's legacy. And I think he takes that stuff really, really seriously on what his father's legacy was. And I think she'll say, that's why we are here to restore the legacy and the honor. He'll say, we, and I think Kreese will walk out and we'll look at him. Then I think there'll be a scene of Daniel inside the dojo cutting some bonsai trees, and we'll see Tory walk in. Tory will say, "Oh, I didn't know you were here." And Daniel will ask, what were you doing here? And she'll say, "I was just here to grab something." She'll say, "I'll be on my way." Then Kreese will say, "No, stay." And he'll say, "Come here." And I think we'll see a scene of her cutting the bonsai trees. And I think Daniel will be telling her about Miyagi and telling her about, and we'll say, "I'm sorry about the trophy." And she'll say that doesn't really matter to me. I never felt like I earned it for not even 1 minute. Daniel will say things will get better. And he will say, "Why don't you stop by next time to meet up with, next time we have our class?" He'll say, "I know you and Sam have your problems, but trust me, if you told me I would be sharing a dojo with Johnny Lawrence and a guy who tried to kill me, I would say you're crazy. But life just works in a great way when you do what's right. It's hard, but at one point it will all pay off and all make sense." I think Tory will smile at this advice and she'll seem really happy. Then I think there'll be a scene, the last scene in Korea, and they'll still be talking to the father about what they're gonna do, how are they gonna fix Kreese's legal problems, and then we're talking about Silver and how Kreese says that Silver can just stay in jail. I think that he will also tell Kim about what Silver did to him. And then I think the father will say, "Well, if you want to win this Saikai Taikai, you better go get your students." And then I think she'll open a door, and we'll see her students, who I think they'll be really tough, really scary looking people. And she will smile, and then the episode will end. There it is, guys, for Cobra Kai Season 6, Episode 2 fan fiction. I know there's not a lot of Miguel in this episode. I'm going to try to have him more in the story next episode. But like I said, this is very difficult trying to get everyone in the scene, everyone in here. This is just something I kind of put together. Just, it's a fan fiction. I don't want anyone to take this seriously or anything. I'm sure the creators do a lot better job. I just make this for us to get excited and to theorize about stuff. But anyway, guys, I will make episode 3 next Thursday or Friday. It'll come out around that time. If you guys have any ideas for episode 3, because I haven't started writing it yet, let me know in the comments down below. And thank you guys for watching. Sorry this one was a little bit more longer, but hey, this will be the longest season. So we'll see you guys next time. Always remember, extreme measures. Peace.